Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is David Palmer, Leo King, and Craig Skidmore here on HighVibe.tv for Deep Love Tarot, your weekly love horoscope and forecast for the week of October 12th through the 18th of 2020. We are here exclusively on HighVibe.tv. Make sure that you're a member on our apps or just go to the links below like HighVibe.tv where all the exclusive content that is on HighVibe.tv, which is the disruptive spiritual network. But we be bringing the high vibes. In many ways, we have to disrupt all this weird vibes that have been around and bring us to those high vibes. We are the place where you can get daily video horoscopes, all the weekly exclusive horoscopes I do, and so much more. Also, the High Vibe TV school, we got so much stuff going on. Erica Othen is starting her school just here on Tuesday on the 13th. So definitely check out highvibe.tv. All of everything that you've ever wanted spiritually there, especially if you're into astrology, horoscopes. There's so many other things that we do, special shows, full disclosure. Check it out and be a member. It definitely helps us to be able to bring you this show free that you can always have on YouTube and so forth. How is Mr. Craig doing tonight under the moments before Scorpio Mercury retrograde and one of the craziest weeks in astrology I've ever seen?
It's a bit intense, not gonna lie.
Woo!
A bit intense, to say the least. But I do got this dope-ass new jacket, though, so, you know, I'm feeling fresh.
Which, by the way, I was rocking that.
You were.
And then I looked at the tag and it said Craig.
I know, but I'm happy that you did because I like it.
I actually was like, yeah, this looks
like
more
it.
Craigy anyway.
I like it. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Bari. To Bari, she sent this. She's a textile designer based out of Brooklyn. So if any of y'all are interested, you can find her on Instagram at BARIKRSNA. So thank you very much because I love it. But yeah, I don't know. It's been intense, you know. And we just did those 12 signs, the sun sign horoscopes right before we did this, and it definitely rang true. A lot of the kind of the vibe that I was feeling. So it's just one of those weeks I feel like where we just gotta kind of put one foot in front of the other and just keep it moving, you know. Find the happiness where we can around us. Find the happiness within ourselves, and kind of settle in. You know, and get ready for the wild ride. So
it is a wild ride that we all are. You know, it's like, you know, in anything in life, you have to be willing to, on any wild ride, adjust your seat in the right position. I guess, you know, the seatbelt's just trust in the universe that it always will go the way that it's supposed to. But I think that this is one of those weeks where, aren't we ready after this year, and just even if you look back the last couple of years, or even I would say the last decade, just aren't we ready for just some sort of just like, if it's going to go crazy, just please just go crazy just so we get this whole thing over with. I almost feel like it's not crazy because it's more crazy that it looks crazy, but it doesn't fully go crazy or something, if that makes sense. It's like,
yeah, it's like the never ending roller coaster, you know, when you're just like, you're like, all right, I'm ready for the drop. And it's just like, is it ever going to come? And then I don't know, it's just going to fucking drop out underneath us at some point.
Or it'd be like, I feel like, you know, we have all been dating like a catfish. Like, you know, like, oh, it looks so good. And then, you know, right when you're going to talk to them or meet up with them, they don't show up, or they don't, you know. That was a great show. I almost feel like 2020's catfished us. And I feel that, you know, love-wise with this week is the outlet of so many positive things through craziness. But if it's not in alignment, man, that could kind of be rough. So, I mean, it's going to definitely be, we are in Libra season, by the way. It is, happy birthday, Libra.
Happy birthday.
We all know that you like your parties more than anybody else. All right? But it's a new moon in Libra. It's a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. It's a new moon in the middle of the most chaotic mess in the battle of the gods of planets we've ever seen. And with Mercury retrograde about to oppose Uranus here, oh my God, dude, it is going to turn this world upside down. Be ready. It's right when you think that it's not is when it is. You know, it's like people are almost like, oh, these look like? I don't know. It's like the writings are on the wall. Scorpios are really good about knowing the writings on the wall in life. They just start to see it faster. I love going to a party or going anywhere with a Scorpio because they'll be like, hey, check that out. Like, and I'll be like, oh yeah. And I'll be like, oh, look at that. Doesn't look like it's going to go down well. And then, it's like 20 minutes later and you already know. It's like the radar system. So the radars of all of us, I think, have been pinged. So it's kind of, I mean, oh man. Well, when we go into the collective reading, man, there's a lot to say, but I'm going to keep it as condensed as I can so we just get to the horoscopes. And we got the cup. We're good. So like, if you never watched the show before, we are going to give you the whole horoscope for this week, all the 12 signs. But first we do the collective, and I do the astrology only on the collective part. And then of course, pull the cards for the collective and how the collective is doing with love for this week. And then of course, we pull your signs from the high vibe.
I love gold. So much gold. Someone in the chat said fool's gold too.
Fool's gold used water cup from I don't even know how long ago. And you pick your signs, and we store everything, including the astro dice, which we pull too, which unfortunately it's so weird on how they don't like to come out. But
they're stick.
This show is it's a rare form, this show, and I feel like since Craig and I have our own views of life, right? And everybody does. I just want to know, because I'm an astrologer, so you've heard me say probably for how many months and even years, October 16th. What are you feeling like coming into this week? Like just vulnerable, just how do you just feel?
I feel a little worn out, a little beat down, a little overwhelmed. You had touched on in the Scorpio horoscope about maybe like a slight depression, and I definitely had felt that, where it's like having to muster up all the energy just to kind of make it through, and to find inspiration where I can. So it's, it hasn't been the easiest couple of days. And I'm assuming that it's not going to be easy going forward either.
Wow,
So.
I mean, that was deeper than going on Dr. Phil right there. I appreciate the vulnerability and and I think everybody else does too. And I feel, for me, I felt the drained energy, but then the hot, it's like there's something that like, when you kind of let it go and accept it, and then energy comes back to you or something. It's like when you like get over the frustration of feeling a certain way right now, like letting it go. I feel like for me has been helping me, but it's like, I haven't been feeling like depressed, but I've been feeling more like, what is, I honestly, I just feel like we're just in a very narrow tube, and like the possibilities are always there, but it's almost like this is a moment of a big test of when you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and there is a light, and you just know you just got to keep holding ground and staying positive and staying busy in many ways. And to me, that just kind of feels, I don't know. It just feels very, very weird. I want to say this, and I don't know if you relate with this. Maybe, I don't know. Everybody's different. I am not a fan of the holiday season. Not because I'm Scrooge, just because the world shuts down. But how ironic, the world shut down in 2020, so it's felt like the holidays for the whole time for me. Seeing the streets empty for all those months, right? Stores closed. And I'm also an entrepreneur, businessman, so I like when people are thriving in life, and just people are just in the world, and people are like, there's something about when the world shuts down, I'm always like, get the world back going, And with the holidays coming up, and the world shut down, and then it shuts down for the holidays, is it really going to change? Because it's like, It already is kind of like the holidays for the whole year in many ways. It's a question I was thinking about. And then the other question I have for you would be, like, here in California, the new laws with like only 3 households allowed to be together. And even if you are in the same park, and that you even if you knew the other households, it was your other families, and that's including your family. Like, it's so crazy. Like, considering the fact that, that'd be like if I wanted to see my mom and my dad, who of course are divorced, so they have their own families, that just me and then being with my mom and my dad would be 3 households. There's so many weird things about that when everybody in California's counties are going to almost get out of the whole metrics of even being able, right? Like, it's like throwing a blanket over any proposition of getting through this. I just was like, there's no kind of reasoning for it, if that makes sense. I don't know, man. So I'm dealing with that too in my head,
Yeah. It's a lot to process, and we're really here. These are weird times for me. On Sunday will be the 7 years since my mom passed away, which is a week before my birthday. So actually my birthday is going to be on Deep Love Tarot in a couple weeks. But it's just, it's that strange time, it's like the happiness of like having a birthday, but then there's also that sorrow of loss, so that obviously is playing a part in it as well. So, it's just, it's those strange times, and then mixed again with what you said, not necessarily even being allowed to, to be with family members right now, be with, close with people that you love. It's tough. So we're all in this together though. We're all in this wild ride together. It doesn't matter what state or what country you're in. We're all being affected, by this evenly, and obviously some people have had to deal with some intense loss this year of loved ones, and that's always going to be a reminder as well, of 2020 and this whole shitstorm that we're going through. So I think that's really just kind of, again, like finding the happiness within ourselves and being able to kind of push through when it's sometimes we want to just give up, to a certain extent, and just somewhat check out. But, that's not a healthy state of just checking out and not being able to affect the game that we're playing, in a positive way.
Well, I think it's, one, I mean, I know how much it is to go through. Well, I don't know how much it is, but I know how much it is as your friend of what you have to go through every year before your birthday to deal with your mom. And I know that's a lot. And then especially in a moment like we're in now, that's like almost like even more, because I think, I don't want to reveal your whole life and whole story, but when I saw you in Oregon in 2016, when I drove up there, I think it's good in life when we have moments where we can pause and reflect on deep emotional stuff. And I think Oregon did that for you, but then there was a moment of you kind of wanting to leave Oregon because it was almost like it was almost too much, right? Compressing all that.
Yeah.
And I feel like we were all kind of in that moment for a long time where we all are like, okay, how much more compressing is there of like, looking inside so deeply? And I don't think that's a bad thing, but it can also be like, where's the limit on how much we have to look at things, right? Like, it's not like, I'm sure it touches you every day, the situation that you have to go through every year and reminding of your mom in many different ways. But there's also probably days where, that doesn't come up, right? But it almost feels like 2020 and this year and what we're kind of in right now is kind of one of those things where maybe there's a day or two where, you kind of like, but it's weird because the way that the world looks, it's almost like it's got this physical thing where it's like, what people are wearing, let's just put it that way, or, on television, what they're wearing or how they like it. Right. So it's like in your face and it's like, there's so much of it that's just like, I think we got to find this, God, it's like that movie Saw. Like, how do we get out of this thing?
Right.
And, you know, are you happy with the people that are in the Saw game with you, you know? And then what's kind of freaky about that movie is it's a game.
Well, that's what this year has felt like, is that we're being controlled. You know, we've been tossed kind of into a game, so to speak, where we don't necessarily have control of the outcome, you know, and we're getting fed a little tidbit of information here, there. It's like was it not a discovery game, or, you know, when you, whatever the hell that game is, where you have a list of things that you need to find to be able to accomplish that scavenger hunt, you know, but it's only like a little bit of information here. So you're just kind of having to piece everything together to kind of figure it out and say, yeah, I'm going to take it to the next level. But I think it solely is falling on us now, you know, being dependent on ourselves. You know, obviously we need to be dependent on those around us as well. But I think that this year has definitely shown, you know, the strength that we need to be able to find, the strength that we need to tap in within ourselves at all times.
Yeah, and it's making us stronger, and I think at all times we can get through these times, and there's ways to do it. But I say we go into this collective to try and understand. Let's piece this thing together for everybody and what's going on. And of course, we always are looking at the chat, and we always are here to look at it. And you know, just putting a warning out there. It's heavy astrology this week. Okay, so if we could all in the chat not get triggered by that, and, you know, all be open-eyed to what's going on instead of, you know, I don't know, like just trying to say like, no, I don't know. I just feel like that's part of the whole resistance that this astrology brings up this week for the love life, is the resistance to the truth and the accepting of the truth. So it's a new moon in Libra this week. That's going to happen on Friday, but we have Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, and that's the big revealer for this next 3-week cycle of Mercury retrograde, of going through Scorpio back into Libra. So it's going to be about us, our desires, our wants, uncovering our more vulnerable spots, how to discuss them, how to understand them. And it's a detective, it's a treasure hunt. And then it's a treasure hunt for the ultimate partnership energy with Mercury retrograde coming back into Libra in 3 weeks. So with this new moon in Libra, and through the whole cycle of this new moon will be the Mercury retrograde. And it will actually finish in the month cycle before the new moon in Scorpio. So I would like to think of it as, with this new moon that's squaring Pluto, squaring Saturn, the sun will square Saturn Sunday. We've got Mars and the sun that are in opposition. So that means right now Earth is closest to Mars. Like, we are passing Mars. We are right there. So it's very, and it's very intense, and it's also very like depleting. And so, like, you know, it feels like if you didn't get sleep for 2 days and you're trying to drink your 5th Red Bull and an espresso shot. But I think it doesn't have to feel that way. I think, you know, I'm going to just kind of go somewhere I never go, but I'm going to say that auras are everything. And so I think that's what I like human design for, is the understanding of people's auras and stuff. And so you can be around auras that drain you and don't even realize it. And, you know, one of like the things in my life, especially when I started becoming awake spiritually, was when I'd be around a certain person, or even in a relationship back in the day, and if it wasn't vibing, my life wasn't vibing good at all. And it would be everything from monetary wise to happiness wise to feeling connected to my purpose to, and so this is a rebalancing act that is extreme. And it's extreme because Mercury retrograde's this detective that's going to go inside and go, are you really getting what you want? And Uranus and Taurus is like, I'm trying to give you a better way up, but you're going to have to take the road that nobody's taken yet. And on top of the big squares to Saturn, Pluto, I think that this is pretty extreme since the beginning of this year was the most extreme transits astrologically. And here we are at the 3/4 square point from the sun when it conjoined with Saturn, Pluto. We have to remember that when Saturn and Pluto met on January 12th, the sun was on top of it too. And so now the sun is 3/4 squaring the Saturn-Pluto conjunction on a new moon, and it's squaring Saturn-Pluto. And this is like us 3 laps out of the 4 laps around that we are going through in life. So it's like this is like the third turn, the last turn's coming, or this is the last turn until we come into Saturn-Pluto. But we won't come into Saturn-Pluto again, right? In Capricorn. So this is like the big moment of what the whole world changed at the beginning of the year and how it's going to reveal itself in the most wildest ways in your life. The moon rules your personal life. It's in Libra. It's about relationships. Venus in Virgo is going to oppose Neptune. The sun's going to oppose Mars retrograde. Your identity and your relationships are being redefined. Your relationship energy with Venus and Virgo is going to have to get more like, is this really in alignment purity, or am I building a dream out of something that's really not going to be able to be real? And so this is going to be the biggest test I think we've all had, because it is a test to the beginning of this year, January 12th. And actually there was a lunar eclipse January 10th. And December 24th, right, there was the other eclipse. So it's like for that period, December 24th. And then we have Mercury that retrogrades Tuesday and starts to begin the transit of where Venus retrograded October, November of 2018. Same position, same degree. So this is not your grandma's, Instagram meme astrology. This is the real deal. And I would say that there is no astrologer that can give you the outcome. This is you having to just see, is this fully within the balance and harmony, the identity? And is this part of my long-term journey? You decide that. I can't decide that. Craig can't decide that. Nobody can. Except within yourself. It's the biggest test of courage. With the Earth passing Mars, I can look at it as the sun opposed Mars retrograde. But the truth is the sun is looking at the Earth and it's seeing that the Earth is passing Mars and going, wow, Earth's getting some confidence to pass Mars. It's the illusion from Earth that's going, oh no, Mars is going backwards. And I would say that, are you going backwards with your courage to do what you really want in your life right now? Especially in relationship realm? And can you be honest and truthful? And can you also not worry with Mercury opposed Uranus about how it will affect somebody else off your own desires, needs, and wants? This is going to be the hardest test, I think, ever, because I think that as human beings, we're actually more good than we seem. I think that the world has kind of made us seem like all human beings, we're all bad. And we're bad people. But that's connected to things like that I think are ridiculous. Like it's like we have our own needs and wants in our life, and that's okay. And I think that people have to be really real about what those needs and wants are. And if they're not getting those needs and wants, then what are you doing? And why are you so worried about how it will affect them, what you need in your own world emotionally just to be you? You can't move on and move forward in life with Uranus if you're so worried about everybody and you don't know how to take care of yourself first. So I would say that that's what this is really about. Do you have anything to say to that before we look at the cards? Or
I think you hit it pretty spot on right there.
Well, let's see. First card that we got for the collective this week is the Devil card reversed.
Oh, there we go.
A different deck. I think we might have got this last week. I don't remember, but it seems like this came up. Well, we are definitely removing ourselves from the chains and the energies that we feel almost maybe a little bit overly connected, but we're not getting exactly what we feel that we want. So anything that also feels like it's toxic and dark, we got to leave. So this is definitely feeling, not satisfied, right? We're not satisfied in our love lives. There's something off, or it feels like if anything is manipulating us or wanting to take us in a way, or has a hold on us. The devil has a hold on you, because the truth is divine light and love has no hold on you ever. And so, or it's like, well, they're providing. I mean, yeah, what are they providing? The challenge that we got is the moon card. Ooh, the emotional attachment to bad things, or the emotional attachments to things that you don't even want, that are finally going to subconsciously come out, but it's almost like maybe you're going to suppress them because this came up as the challenge card. Our overall that we got is the Four of Pentacles. Wow, look at this. This is overly attaching to values and situations, but only the best, though, is what we should be holding on to. In this case, I guess that's a pretty nice thing she's attached to. I don't know. Looks like a shoe. It's not a shoe. But again, it's kind of ironic that we pulled the devil reverse, and that card definitely is kind of, it represents the devil is the sex card. So, but do we have it reversed? There is also like, is the connection there or not? And that outcome there is saying like, what are we holding on to in value? And is it emotionally good for us? And is it really what we connect to? And it needs to be the best. The shadow to this moon that we got is this me? And oh man, this is just totally, look at, even connected with that devil reversed. I think it's like, did I really allow myself? Am I going to allow myself? Or am I still allowing myself? Or did I become, or am I about to become somebody that emotionally I don't want to become? Or have I already become that? So that hits kind of all people right there. Is this really me? And am I really to face those emotions and be like, can I be the true self I really want to be? The reason we got that devil card reversed is we got the Page of Wands in reverse. Ugh, this is not easy. You know, because I think that the good intentions or the combos or what we maybe thought, or the messages that we thought we received, are not. It's like we're making a U-turn here to get really back to the true self. And I think that it's hard to stay positive when you're not seeing the positive, you know, or the message, the communication isn't in the same place of the heart. And when that doesn't happen, people start to make up things, or they start to create stories and start to create things that, you know, you want to hear. The reason that we got that Four of Pentacles, wow, oh my gosh, look at that, the devil. Well, we got a devil reversed, the Page of Wands reversed, and then on the other side of that, we've got the devil with the Four of Pentacles. If we're going to come from a higher point of view, okay, what you really want is very clear, and what you really don't want is very clear. But even the thing that we really do want, it's okay to have it. We just got to make sure we understand the boundaries, that we don't become like obsessed to a point to where it's like, it's our all or nothing in life, and that's all we value, without forgetting about ourselves is the challenge that we got here. Our overall that we are going to do, I'm going to bring back the, I'm going to do two cards just for this. Wow, the shadow. And the North Node of Life's purpose. There is a life purpose that is calling us, but there's the shadow work that we have to do this week in order for us to get there. And if we're not willing to do that shadow work, and we're not willing to look in the shadow, and if we're not willing to let go of the shadow work that we need to let go of so we can get to our ultimate purpose, then we're not going to get there. And this is the shadow work of the relationship work that's going to be at the most extreme. We did get the North Node, so that pulled up again, and we got that in the 9th house, and we got that in Aries. So this is us, or is that the 6th? That is the 6th. This is getting us the life we really want, and we really wanted to find, and the little changes that we need to make. They're smaller, but it takes courage, and they're not as big as you think it is. It's just the courage to do it, and the courage to make the changes, and the courage to have exactly what you want. Pinpoint precisely. Instead of getting lost in the 12th in Libra of like, let me create a fantasy story about this relationship to keep it together, or to enter this one because it's a fantasy story. No, it's not. What you exactly need and what you exactly want, if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah, I think you said it with not with not getting lost, you know, in the story, not getting lost in our emotional state, you know, and actually kind of facing our fears, or facing any dilemmas that might arise, you know, within a relationship, or even within ourselves, you know, and actually facing the darkness, you know, that might come out of it, facing that dark truth that maybe we've been suppressing a bit. You know, I think that it's being in tap with our emotional state, you know, but not getting overwhelmed with it as well, being honest with ourselves and speaking from the truth. You know, I think that it's easy to kind of get pulled back into that, you know, especially with those two devil cards. You know, it might be the darkness that kind of scares us a bit, but that is something that we need to face. That is something that we need to bring out to the light within ourselves to fully be able to progress forward within a relationship and within the relationship with ourselves.
Yeah, and I think that the story that you brought up right away, like getting lost in the stories, and I think that this is an ultimate of surrender of like, I'm just going to say it, I might sound real, you know, more religious and spiritual, but it's like, I mean, I think this is just like give it to God and see what happens. But also at the same time being willing to accept the shadow and the truth. And it's almost like God's pointing us in a direction, and the shadow and the devil twice, and one of them's reversed, and this whole, is this really me? Like, if you're having those weird things, it's like where you feel like I can't, it means more that you can. You know what I mean? Like, I can't. No, you can. I think there's a lot of shadows that are popping up about, like, I have to do something that you don't have to do. Or I have to stay if I don't have to. Or I have to go into if I don't really have to. Or, well, yada, yada, yada. And I think that that's the stories that we have to listen to that are divinely guided. So, I mean, how many, even what were you saying earlier about you were dropping everything too, bro? I mean, I have dropped so many things in the last day. It's insanity. Even when you came into my office, I had a bag and you're like, you're dripping crap everywhere. I'm like, I don't even know, dude. Like, see what the first.
On a good note, I did get to see some live music yesterday, so that was nice.
Yeah, I know. It looked like it was. I got to see my pops. Aries, look at Aries came up first.
There we go.
You know, the High Vibe Red Cup is. We used to have a red cup. It's gold now. It's gold. So it's gold. But Aries first. So we're going with that. The Aries. If you want to watch your sun sign horoscopes, I just broke them down on highvibe.tv. I would be a member for especially this week. And I go through the whole charts for each sign. It's a lot. It's a lot. All right, Aries, let's see what's going on this week for you. You pulled the Ace of Swords reversed. Wanting to clear the air, but doesn't know if you can. There's definitely a lot to clean up communication-wise in your own self, and even with a partner or somebody you might be dating. It feels like it can't get off the ground, or there's something that you're trying to pierce through to, you know, it's like a plane trying to make it over the clouds, but it just can't for some reason. We're going to find out why. Well, you did pull the Five of Cups in reverse as your challenge position. This is like, maybe this is unnecessary sorrow, creating sorrow that's not really there. Creating, like, you know, maybe you've already let go of things, but it's almost like I feel when I see this, I feel like when the challenge comes up, it's like somebody trying to create more of a sorrow situation than it really is. It's almost like, you know, it's like, you know, the boy who cried wolf a little bit. Maybe it's your partner doing that, and that's a challenge, and you see it, and you're trying to get over that too. It could be that, but I would definitely say, like, is it worth going through any kind of dramatic emotional story that really is not that dramatic? And of course, you're not going to get over the clouds when it's that dramatic. The Three of Swords reversed, the heartbreak card, it's reversed though here. I would say that the overall here is, I think you already know, I think you've already been through the hard cuts. It's about getting over those, you know, cuts to the heart this week and releasing all those so you can pierce forward, because it's almost like maybe there has been deep sorrow, and there maybe has been some really big heartbreaking stuff here that you don't feel aligned with, but you can't pierce until the clouds, and you can't get to the new place that you want to be and the better environment until you just finally accept as it was and move on. There's a lot of like move through this and move out of, or move through it and get out into the better zone. Your shadow is today for tomorrow. So if you don't change anything from today, it's going to exactly play out tomorrow. So if it's a dramatic sorrow story and a heartbreaking story, or you're not happy today, you won't be happy tomorrow. So this is your deal, Aries. Like, you got to like make the change as fast as you can in the moment to make tomorrow a better day. And then if you don't see it the second you wake up or something, continue to hold the line you want for today, and it will so be tomorrow. I feel that with this Ace of Swords in reverse, this Two of Swords that has just popped up, that I feel that you're very aware of the situations that you don't need to be going through, but it's almost like you want to create your own reality show, especially with this Mars retrograde opposed to the sun and the new moon and the square Saturn Pluto. Like, this is about being responsible instead of acting like, oh, I was, it's like having a DUI, and I have nothing against people who have DUIs, but I'm just saying that it's like, you're the one in charge of that wheel and the responsibility to be behind that wheel of your life. And I feel like in your love life especially, but it's like, are you really going to keep knocking out and trying to drive when you know you can't? When you actually are aware of it too? It's like, you can't act like you're not aware. You're very aware, but it's almost like kind of fun to play the, oh, I wasn't aware. You're aware of what's going on. That Three of Swords came up because you got the Hermit. So I don't think that you're able to access the most exciting love energies. It's because I think that you keep stewing to figure out why something isn't going the way you want to in the current relationship situations, or you're still attached to a bad cut that you haven't healed yet in a relationship wound, because you continue to try and figure it out and go to the library energetically and keep figuring this whole thing out. But it just is what it is. I think that, you've become a hermit based off like wanting to, block things, when I think that would not continue to be good. And tonight I'm going to pull both for all signs. And you got the Power, and you got the Yod, the Destiny card. So your Power is when you go into the weirdest destiny. A Yod, of course, is very odd with the odd and Yod. It is the finger of God, finger of fate. It is those unique 150 aspects that create the Yod to a 60-degree sextile, that I think that you need to point yourself towards. Destiny comes when you have the power to create the world today that you want tomorrow, and to get over a lot of the insecurities and to step back into your power of who you are, instead of acting like, I need to chill out and I'm going to just act like, I don't know, some sage, or I need more wisdom, and like, go for what you want. I don't know, or it's like, I feel like there's a lot of hesitation for greatness, and I think that this is what your issue is, and your destiny. It might feel weird, but that's what you are, is to go into that. You did pull the North Node, you did pull the sixth, or you pulled the ninth house this time, and we got Scorpio. So this is definitely like, open yourself up to what you want to receive. You need to open up the gates here, because no UPS driver is going to let any package be dropped off, or even the Amazon person, if you keep it closed. I think that your issue is that you're holding on way too tight to this idea of how you think that love will work, and trying to find the best way to do it. There is no best way. There only is doors open and allowing to see what shows up in.
I'm kind of picking up that this may be like an issue with the partner or with the love interest, and not necessarily like the Aries is going through that, and it's dealing with, respective relationship that, like you said, is not going necessarily at the speed or in the direction that you thought it was, but it could be that there is that healing that needs to be done on that partner's side as well. It could be that, with that, what was it, the live for today, for tomorrow, whatever that card was, with the two individuals on it. I think that has to do with like continuing to work, but if it's not showing up, how much energy are you going to actually invest into it? How much of your life force are you going to necessarily, I don't want to say waste, because it's all going to be a great learning experience at the end of the day. But, there does come to that point where it's like, enough is enough, and I'm not going to continue to waste my time or my energy on an individual that's not showing up for me.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is, there's a lot of confusion here that isn't confusing. It's like acting confused when it's not confused. Two swords reversed over that. I'm just going to be real. Like an ace of swords reversed. There's just something not piercing the clouds that you know about, but it's like, something's got to change, and the power has to come through making a major choice in destiny, and it's going to feel odd and weird, and especially that in that we got those they're very hard cards in love. 3 of Swords reversed, 5 of Cups reversed. It's like unnecessary identification of sorrow, and then this Hermit energy that's trying to like figure it all out when you already know it. Like, there's no need to go to the library and go look up the old newspaper from 1977 about some old story that you already know what's going on right now. And Aries, they got a big week. This is their big new moon in Libra, and it's the hardest new moon of the year. So definitely going to be a challenging relationship week for all Aries. Pisces, well, we're going backwards. That's kind of weird. Pisces, we got the fishes. The fishies. How's those fishes doing out there? How are you all doing out there? We're live in the chat. Remember, when we get to 1,000 people live, it's always a 1K collective reading. Share this to your friends. All right, fishes, let's see what's going on. Well, you did pull the Empress. That's a great card to have here. It's definitely about you knowing the value of who you are and what you can create and the beauty of who you are too. And, also on the other side of the fence, is it exactly the most magnificent, beautiful energy of a relationship that you've ever wanted? Physically, just as much as spiritually and emotionally? It is the Venus card. Venus is in your relationship house this week, opposing Neptune in your sign. So it's a two-way system. It's like, if you don't feel like you're this great empress that has the ability to nurture and mature and create and manifest the most beautiful, abundant energy of the world, then do you think you're going to attract that in, or are you going to be looking at your partner? And if they don't feel that way and you feel that way, there's a problem there too. The challenge that you got this week is the Sun card. So being aware of it, the Sun card is like being able to just like totally be your true, authentic soul expression. But I feel like that there's an issue here. Maybe I'm going to pick this up too with all this Mars retrograde stuff going on in Aries and the opposition to this new moon with the squares to Pluto, Saturn, and Capricorn. Is like there's an uncomfort with being this magnificent self in the world, that you're having a challenging of just stepping into the awareness that you are that, but doubting it and questioning it. Questioning you can go ride the horse into the sun of that you want to go to. It's like you're questioning greatness because you want to almost like stay in something that you don't want to be in. 5 of Pentacles reversed. This is a victim card, but it's reversed. It's like in this case, there's a puzzle piece missing out of it, right? It feels like there's something missing, but it's reversed. Shit ho. But no, it's oh shit. But I would say that the overall is like, if you can face the truth when it comes to a lot of the issues regarding being aware that there's a magnificent, beautiful essence of who you are, and that you need that in return on the other side. And if it's not that, well, then overall, yeah, I would say that, you're going to feel like there is something deeply missing, and that you feel like, you're kind of the weirdo, or that things feel weird. But you can flip that this week overall. The shadow to that sun is you're not into it. Or somebody's playing that to you. They don't know if they're really into you. This is to be or not to be. Perchance to dream, right? Like, you're definitely not that into something. And with the Sun card, oh, it's definitely not that bright as you thought. No. Why'd you get the Empress? Well, you got the Hierophant card upright. I think the Empress is looking for a much more spiritual and aligned, empowered being to be with. These are 2 very high up cards. These are 2 court cards. It's almost like you have to step up to the higher court in life, and a spiritual court that mixes with the beautiful physical life that you want. You can't try and build anymore in this reality, Pisces, a magical story when you're with somebody not magical, or doesn't get the same magic as you, and won't even listen to it. Or if you don't believe you're magical in yourself and you're single and you're sitting there by yourself right now and you're not going out there, You know, you got to create a new ritual about the best of the best, and you got to own that within yourself first, and then going after that too. This is Pisces' big lessons, self-worth wise too. You pulled the strength card. You know, you have the strength to get over a missing story. There's so many missing pieces in your story that they're trying to reverse, and you need to have the strength to face that, and the awareness, which is your challenge. And you're in this. I mean, let's be honest with you. I think like one of the worst things in the world is to be in this. Like, I don't know if I really want this or not. Or they don't know if they really want you. That's the worst feeling in the world. Let's see what you got here. Well, you pulled the new life. Ooh. Oh, I knew I had to bring this back. You all didn't know I was coming back with this one. And Gemini, a new life into a new stimulating environment and more of the twin-like energy that you are. Can you handle the truth, Pisces? Well, Neptune in the 5th in Gemini. How funny is that? The ultimate love story that is stimulating, but you need to be aware of those subconscious blocks that are in your current environment and love story now.
And are you going to believe in yourself? You know, do you believe that you are that divine power? You know, that you do have the ability to make the right decisions. You know, to call it quits when you need to, and to push through when you need to. You know, but at the end of the day, you hold the power. You hold the key to your heart and to your life and what you want to bring into that. So I think it's not forgetting the beauty of yourself. It's not forgetting the actual raw potential that you have for the happiness that you want. You know. Not getting lost in kind of what a situation looks like. You know, it might look nice on the outside, but is there really that substance that you want to continue with? And I think that you just need to harness, you need to tap back into that power that you truly do hold.
Or I think you bring it good of like, you know, like what it's like, are you holding on to something? Maybe it looks good is what you said, but it's like, maybe it's more like, I feel like it needs to look this way. Like, good example would be like, well, I have kids, so I got to stay there. Or, you know, whatever it might be, right? But there's something about this Empress and that Hierophant that's like, if you're not staying for spiritual reasons and the physical isn't good, it's got to be both. As above, so below. So it almost feels like it's missing one of the other. Like, okay, maybe it's spiritually great, but let's be honest, you're like pulling out the axe because he smells like shit or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, or it's flopped. Okay, it looks great, but like no soul connection, no depth. Or there's a lot of Pisces out there that are literally hermit cramming all by themselves, like not dating because they have self-worth issues. And this goes into all Pisces. That you got to own that beauty and that power and that magician that you are. And this is going to be that test, especially when we're dealing with the 8th house new moon of your desires and sexuality and how to attract what you want. And if you don't feel attractive, you need to look at the other side of your self-worth and the kind of partnerships that you're in, the people you're around, or that you're trying to prove to, you know, because maybe it's not attracting the ultimate partner that you want. Like maybe the mom look isn't working, or maybe the over-sexualized look isn't working, or maybe the yoga look isn't working, or maybe whatever it might be, right? I'm having you think. We're off to a wonderful start here tonight. On the wildest week of the year. Besides, again, like I said, the week of January 12th. Cancers, all right, we're out of order now. Cancers. Oh, man. I just realized I said I called Pisces being like hermit crabs. Cancers are in the opposite place. Or are they? All right, let's see what's going on, Cancer. Let's go. Well, you did pull the King of Cups in reversed. Definitely not feeling like you are in control of your emotions or the power in the way that you want your emotions to go. Or you feel like you're in a, you know, I'm going to take this card and kind of my own way of looking at it too. It almost feels like, you know, you're falling off the horse emotionally. Like, oh no, like my emotions are not going, and I don't have the empowerment there. And it does, whenever I see a king or I see a queen in reversed, you feel like you definitely have felt stupid for the emotions that you're going through or that you're holding on to. You don't feel empowered by them. Especially, this is a new moon in your 4th house of emotion. So this is definitely in opposition to your 10th. Like, you got to make big choices. And it's all squaring your relationship planets and Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn and Capricorn right now. This is definitely going to be like falling off the bed. It's like falling off the horse. Oh, wow. Look at your challenge, the world. I think that you're afraid of something coming to an end and completion and moving forward, while at the same time entering into the new world. That's your challenge. That's even in your astrology with this Mercury retrograde in your 5th house opposing Uranus. Afraid to really look at the truth of your heart's desires and step that into the world. It's like you're afraid to bring it into the world. You're afraid of what it's like the crash is going to be. Might not be that bad. But you're afraid of just letting it crash to get to where it needs to go to. King of Cups reversed again. You got 2 King of Cups reversed. You're definitely not in control of the emotional things, and you're trying to control it, and it's making you feel dumber and dumber and dumber. And this is worse than just dumb and dumber. Like, at least Jim Carrey made it funny. This isn't funny. I wish it was. At least you got this Ace of Wands upright to say that, well, it is a new start and unlocking a new key to a new place with your heart where you are crashing and falling and emotionally. And I would say that that's where to access the power of the new place that you can take your love life. Why'd you pull this shadow, which I usually do first? You pulled the revenge. Well, I almost feel like this is more like you feel like, and I'm going to just be honest by Cancers. I feel like you're pissed that the Disney story has not turned the way that you wanted it to look. So it's almost like, I want to get back at Mickey Mouse. I want to get back at Walt. It's like, You didn't allow the storyboard to change when it got funky. You let it continue. Nothing to be mad at about this world that's trying to change for you. You need to learn to accept it instead of have some sort of negative connotation to it. Or anybody that's giving you that truth, like moi. Look at that. King of Cups in reverse with the Beware reversed. You know what? I'd be afraid of not facing control of your emotions. And I'm not saying control of, I can control my emotional world and keep things together. I think that's your issue, is like, you're so afraid of losing the control of controlling emotions. Instead of, there's nothing to fear when you realize it's okay that you feel stupid. And there's nothing to be scared of with that. And that something didn't work out or something's not working out the way you want to. That's going to be the only way we can see what's going to happen next. Is that you're holding everything in a container and you do not want to let it go. Well, you pulled the guides. So your guides have been giving you the message. And if you haven't been listening to them, well, they're not. Maybe your guides have. They would never bring revenge onto you. But maybe, there is something to say that your guides are kind of like, what the hell's going on here, Cancer? And, well, you did pull that water element and you pulled the sensing of the water element. But that's the trifecta of the whole water. So you could apply it astrologically in a water element. I mean, you're going to be dealing with emotion. You're going to be dealing with edge, passion, and desire and truth. And you're also going to be dealing with spirituality. And I feel that these all need to come together and that your guides are trying to find you an altogether picture. And I think that you're kind of like triple split, like in human design. Like it's kind of like you're kind of over here and you got one part of your system over there. And they're like maybe two parts are working, but one's not. And then when you get those two parts, or that one part working, and then another part that was working with another part isn't. So there's something where it's like you're juggling a bunch of balls that like aren't flowing in motion. And you can sense deeply what's going on. But I feel that you don't know what action to take. Look at this. This North Node just keeps popping up. North Node, Cancer, and ninth house. I mean, so this is about you investing in the story that you're going to create here. And instead of trying to South Node, Capricorn, third house, try and figure out how to control and keep the story, not even a story, but keep the idea of how you want it to be, even though the story is playing a different story now. It's time to create that new story and that new emotional story.
It could be a sense of some self-sabotaging as well. You know, maybe you think that you're not capable or that you're not good enough for this love, you know, so you're kind of getting in your own way. You know, you're kind of not standing in your true potential and your true power, you know, which is not true. You are capable and you are worthy of that, but you have to believe it yourself. No one can bring that love to you. No one can tell you that you are worthy. You have to feel it within yourself, and you have to actually live it and project it out into the world around you.
Yeah, I think that when in life, I mean, sure, it's like, I was about to say, there's two King of Cups reversed. It's okay to feel stupid.
Yeah.
It's okay. But when it's double whammied, it's like, do you want to keep doing that? Like, it comes to a point where it's like, it's a lot easier to accept that something was a mistake, opposed to continuing to go through because you're so afraid of the impact. You're afraid of impact. That's what you're afraid of. Even though the impact is like, I don't know why I keep getting like old cartoons. It's almost just like pop, pop, pop. Like now, like, you know, the hammer's just getting knocked on your head. Like, and like the little fucking little above the head is coming up. I just feel like it's just like, how many more times do you need to get wackadoodled? How much longer do you want to stay in the circus? You want to keep staying in the circus? With Neptune in the ninth, it's a circus. It's Jupiter's world. Sure, you're inspired by things that you want ethereally to go. Doesn't mean it will. It will when you surrender to the thing that it is not turning out to be. Hope that helps. By the way, I have to pee, but I'll do this next one, and then the next one I'm peeing. So, Aquarius. So Aquas get me, and then you'll get a 2-minute Craig talk. Right before we did the show, I asked Craig, I'm like, do you feel the weirdness in the air already? And he was like, yeah. I'm sure you all feel it. And if you don't, is that crazy? Aquarius, your first card of this week is the Page of Wands in reversed. Well, I think that this is being trouble with you communicating exactly what your heart wants, and possibly a partner not giving you exactly what you want as far as maybe communication-wise. Or maybe this is you going back on, you know, what you said or what you've said. There's definitely, especially Mars retrograde in your third house. This is like I've called you all the brutes that need to kind of, you know, communication-wise, or it's either, you know, you're barking like a dog or you're not, and you need to at least express yourself. So you don't want to bark too loud, and you don't want to not bark at all. And I think that this is a lot of like, you know, there's some unhappiness here. And and it's maybe a confusing way for you to have to know how to deal with it here, or you're just not satisfied either. You did pull the Nine of Swords reverse as your challenge. You're afraid to deal with the nightmare that really is only a nightmare until you deal with it. But you know, you're kind of avoiding the nightmare here, right? Like, it's like I feel like you fucked up, or you feel like, you know, it's a very high anxiety card. I feel like you're creating your own anxieties when they're not that big. I think that this is about learning to confront better about communication, and also confront that it doesn't need to go as bad as you think it does in life by just confronting. Sure, it might go in a direction that you identify as bad in your mind, but really would it be if whatever you see on the other side? And I'm saying this all because we all have to face the ultimate truth on this week of that there is a whole new world. That includes everything. So I know people get confused on this show because you're used to watching other people that do tarot. And I'm trying to show you that we all are just trying to get to the truth of whatever it is, and it doesn't mean it can't work out in life with somebody that you've been with or whatever. I'm just saying that we all have the most challenging week of our life about relationships ever recorded, ever. Now, this week. Which can bring the most glorious. But for some reason, Aquarius, like, you've got to go back and figure out like how to communicate, and also there's like, the challenge is also that you don't want to reveal that you are really going through some sort of suffering. You pulled the Hierophant reverse as your overall. You know, it's like, it's so weird. What happened, Aquarius? You're the wild one. You're the crazy one. But it's almost like you play like an old person, like an old lady, an old man. Like you're playing like the elderly card here. I feel like you need to be untraditional again. You need to like fucking get wild and have fun again. And I think that's your issues. You just like held yourself back from the true essence of your heart, the true essence. And I think that you're afraid to do that. I think it's like you lost the edge. It's time to bring the edge back. And if your partner can't handle that, or you need to find a partner that knows how to bring that edge out of you again. Your challenge here, or your shadow is, look at this, black flower fragrance. I think that you're trying to falsify and cover that everything's good and fine. And that's what I said earlier with this Knight of Swords in reverse. Your challenge is that you're trying to say everything's fine and put a bunch of, ladies, we all know you use poopery. That means you did go drop a load. Like, dudes are not stupid. You might not want to use that stuff. That means that's the signal you dropped a load. So it's almost like that, right? It's like, oh, I don't want you to know I dropped a load. Well, it smells like poopery everywhere. You just sprayed it coming out of the bathroom. Obviously, you just dropped a load. It's like you don't want to reveal how you really feel inside right now. And that's okay. It's just exposing the vulnerabilities, however it might come out. But also, why did you pull this Page of Wands reversed? You got the Hangman reversed. Well, it's because I think that you've understood enough and you can free yourself from a lot of energy that you don't want to be in. And also, this is a great moment for you to realize, is it really as bad as you think it is? Or is this the moment where you can have the freedom you want by being in the vulnerable self? But you pulled that Hangman reverse. That's awesome. I think that I think that things are not as bad as you might think they are. And if, of course, Aquarius are like, everything's fine all the time. It's like, no, you're hiding this energy that you're not satisfied with. And I think that, coming out of the untraditional, and I mean, there's a freedom moment here for you. You got the Wheel of Fortune with that, especially going back to the untraditional roots. And, my favorite part about being an Aquarius is the big old fuck you, in life, right? It's like, but also the fuck yeah. And I think that this is like finally, you're going to start to see some relief when you get back to the core of who you really are again. And you stop, it reminds me of just like, dudes will be like, it's, I'm sorry, it's my fault. Like, it's like, stop being so bitch whipped, pussy whipped, however you want to put it, dude whipped. Like, for somebody you don't want to be. I said it. Affluence. So is your partner or the person you're going out with even have any influence in life and have some sort of affluence in life? Are they creating a great thing in the world, or are they just fucking basic? Basic ain't gonna work, Aquarius. Maybe they were affluent once and they're not anymore. Look at this. You got the solar eclipse card with that affluence. This is the revolution to get back into an affluent life that's the most amazing life that's going to revolutionize and change your life. And it better feel like fortune. It better feel extreme. And it better feel affluent. And instead of you, I feel like you're connected to partnerships, or you're too afraid to show a partner and you're pooperying the whole thing, and you're, Glade plugins everywhere to a world that you don't even want to be in. And I feel that you also are afraid to just speak up for what you really want. You did pull the second house, Sag, with Saturn. Self-worth issues. But, Sag is there. So it's like, maybe you don't believe that you can have better. Maybe you believe that right now you've reached the top of the ultimate story. Or is that just your own restriction? Are you too afraid to make a choice for a better life by taking on a new open look at the whole situation at all? Just even opening the door to say, let me relook at this situation a second. Nothing is gained or nothing is valuable unless it continues to grow. But I feel like there's something that's plateaued and stopped for a reason for you to see if you want to continue to see if you're going to try and grow a tree that's grown out at its tallest or not. And I know all the single Aquarians go, well, how does that relate to me? Well, you're not creating anything because you're not willing to go into any stories. You're not willing to go into affluence in yourself. You're also pushing out maybe a persona that's not real, like, because you don't want to show the vulnerability of, like, maybe you're not at the home that you want to be in. Maybe you don't have the things that you don't want. Whatever it may be, there's hiding on both sides of the fence. I'm going to go pee now.
All right. Yeah, and what's the message that you're blocking yourself from receiving? You know, what is the universe trying to tell you? What is this individual in front of you trying to tell you, and what are you not listening to? You know, is there aspects that maybe you're hiding from? You're hiding from the truth. What do they say? The truth will set you free. You know, so it's about being open to receiving the message, whatever that message is. You know, but you can't block the universe from presenting it to you. You know, once all the information is laid out in front of you, then you can decide what you're going to take. Then you can decide what you're going to believe and what you're not going to believe, you know? And I think that comes true to all of us, you know, in these times. What is it that we're hiding from ourselves? You know, what is it that we're hiding from our partners? It can be tough, you know, it can be tough being raw and truthful, especially if we're not being truthful to ourselves, you know? And there's certain aspects of your life that, you know, aren't going to rub people the right way, but you have to be truthful to yourself. You have to be that authentic self so that you can live in happiness, you know, so that you're not just shying away and kind of hiding in a closet, you know, or hiding underneath the stairs of your life, you know, that you're not actually out there living it, because whatever the hang up may be, you know, it could be past traumas from relationships. It could be past traumas, you know, from when you're a child, from family and everything. But that's a part of your life, you know, that's an aspect that's going to make you who you are. And there's nothing that you can necessarily do about that except facing your fears, facing the traumas, and being upfront and being honest with it and being honest with yourself. And I think that that is what it all comes back to. You know, can we be honest with ourselves? Can we allow ourselves to be happy, you know, in times where maybe there's individuals around us that aren't happy? But that's okay, because we can lift them up if we have that power, if we have that belief in ourselves that we can do that, you know, and we can. As hard as it may be to, you know, tell the truth to an individual that we love, it's going to work out, you know, because it's the truth. And they might leave. But maybe that's the time that they need to leave. Or maybe it's the time that you need to leave. Maybe it's the time that you need to step up and stand up for yourself. Whatever that is, you know, you have to live that. You have to be truthful with yourself, and you have to stand up for yourself always. Whether that's with friends, whether that's with lovers, whether that's with your family or an individual on the street, you know, be truthful to yourself and live that, you know. You have to live your life the way that you want to, because at the end of the day, you know, it's your trip. It's your ride. And there's nothing else you can do about it, you know. Once we come back again in that next life, and then we're going to have to apply that knowledge that we did. But at least you have to start applying it now. You have to start listening to yourself now, so that these lessons don't just kind of bombard us, so we don't get overwhelmed in the day-to-day life. But that's a beautiful aspect of it as well. That overwhelming feeling when it comes in, that overwhelming tide when it starts to wash over us, and then we stand up for ourselves. And that could just be standing up within ourselves. And then we find that strength, and we continue to push forward every single day. We continue to fight for ourselves. We continue to fight for the ones that we love, because they're fighting for us. They're going through those same struggles just as we are. And they're dealing with their own inner demons. And once we acknowledge that, once we see that beauty within everybody that's around us, because we all do have that beauty within us, even if they look like a shitty individual, they might be, but there is still that beautiful aspect of them that they're continuing to work through. They're going to be learning these lessons this life. They're going to be learning these lessons in their next lives. But as long as we can kind of help them, even if that's a tough one too. They might not want the help. They might not be aware that they even need help. So we just have to stand up for ourselves. We just have to stand up and be true to them, be true to the love that we have within ourselves always. That's what I think it comes back to, is really embracing that self-love and that self-appreciation every single day.
Well, I finished my urination quarantine, and I am ready for a 1K collective time. Is everybody ready for that 1K collective? We made it. It was deep. Fighting. I heard fighting for the other person and understanding the other person, and that's all I caught. And then I got caught up into telling the chat that I had the best urination and pee ever. I miss David Hauser. Where's the I was watching some old videos when I used to put Hauser's face on, and I found the one of you, Craig. If you mean it, and you don't, I forgot. It's so random, but it was the best one. Nobody ever did him better than you.
That was a good one.
I did some good, some good Vegas ones, but there we go. If you've never done One Click Collective on Deep Love Tarot, this is how it's going to go. You get to pick anybody in your life you want to right now, but only one person. You better be talking to them, dating app or social media, or it's your partner or somebody you're hooking up with, whatever it might be, and you want to know what's going on with this relationship. It can't be somebody that you're not talking to, you never had communication with. You can't just be like, oh, I fantasize about Colin Powell. Have you talked to Colin Powell? So, you're going to put that person up. I always say close your eyes. Whatever the room is, for me, I always pick the glorious castle that I always live in, and I put the person that I want in this reading up on the wall on a picture frame, and I make sure that it's them. Because if it sounds like it's something else going on with somebody else, if you're into more than one person, then it's not about them. You're going to have to keep it on this one person. That's the rules. You got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, we have the Page of Wands in reverse here. Well, you know, it's funny. I think with the Prince on this one, it's like the Knight of Wands. I feel like this is something that you want to leap into, or you tried to leap into and it didn't work out. Like there's something that's still kind of like, there's like a, who knows where this is going to go? Or you've tried leaping and it didn't connect fully, but you want to maybe leap again. You're unsure. You might feel stupid if you try to leap into this thing again. The challenge about this relationship is the Queen of Pentacles in reversed. Maybe you didn't feel like that you had the ability to do it at the time. You weren't able to, like, spiritually in a feminine space, be able to hold that space physically. And maybe they weren't able to. Maybe they were going through something. So, and maybe they continually are still going through something that's challenging, but it almost feels like with this person, there's always something challenging in the physical sense, whether it's money or it's their physical body, like a health issue or something like that. Or, so they come up with, like, not an excuse, but it feels like you're trying to maybe rush to save something, or maybe it's the opposite. They're trying to rush to save you and you're afraid of it. 2 of Swords is the overall. So you feel like you don't know what to do. And of course, when Charlie Sheen pops up and says, I am Zen, so fuck off, you're definitely not Zen, and you don't know you don't know where this thing's going. And that's, of course, why you're here. So we're going to get deeper into that. But there's definitely, this feels like you don't know which direction to take with it because of how many times you've tried, and it kind of, you know, it's worthy, but it hasn't revealed itself. And that's the challenge. The shadow to that challenge is, you have regret. You feel like maybe you've done something wrong, or maybe you feel like, gosh, it's something spectacular, but why hasn't Spirit brought it together? And so I think that there's a lot of regret being held on to here. But I think that needs to be something that's like, you know, like in order for something to be done, you shouldn't have regret. And in order for something to be beautiful, like, you got to hold the space no matter what it looks like, and just be abundant in the maternal sense in the feminine sense of the physical aspects of it. Whatever life, we're always going to go through physical stuff, whether it's monetary or physical or health or anything like that. And the Fool card reversed. So we feel like we were really stupid because we weren't able to get what we wanted with this person. Or we feel like we're stupid if we're in this situation because we feel like we're leaping and not getting anything out of it. But it feels like, you know, or maybe we think that they think that we're stupid. Maybe there's something that they're not revealing to us either. I'm getting that with the Fool reverse. Like we feel like, gosh, am I that dumb? They're actually doing this or they're actually doing that. That Two of Swords comes up because the High Priestess reversed. So what does your gut say? I feel like it's like, go with that gut. And maybe that gut has been turned into regret and has turned into a lot of other things. And I think that we need to listen to a higher guidance here. And what is that saying overall? Well, it is magical, and there is magic. That it's about to go through a magical change, but it's going to be an emotional change. And I think that on both parties, there's emotional issues that were happening, and there's emotional issues that are going on that need to go through a 180 change in order for this to happen. And it might feel like you'd be dumb to try this. That's where I'll pull a TV card. Well, we did get the Two of Pentacles, so you're juggling between magic and the change. You're juggling. This is a juggling relationship that you continue to juggle. And I'll pull one last card here. I'm going to pull Edgar Allan Poe and cross, and it's the World card. So, I mean, honestly, you see a great world with this person. There's so much juggling, though. There's so much magic, but there's a lot of change that needs to be happening here. I don't think you'd be stupid to at least give it the shot to understand it fully. But I think clarity is a necessity, because the Fool reverse means it was almost like kind of blindly done with the Knight of Wands in reversed, like kind of a blinded leap, and a lot of confusion on both halves. And also I think with that shadow, it's like, you know, I think that there's some regret here that needs to be removed, and find that magical, and be willing to see if both parties can make great personal life changes to be able to make it work. We did get that's seventh house, Jupiter, Capricorn. Oh, well, we're in Jupiter, Capricorn, but that's quite interesting. I would say that this is a relationship that can go very far, especially if you guys can get both of your goals and work life in the right space. It might be a work issue that caused it. So the doorway through this one is through, does the work make sense? Does the mission in your lives make sense together? But it can definitely happen. I think that this is something that's had trouble starting the gears in the right way, but doesn't mean that the motor won't turn over and be a great ride and great course.
I think there definitely would be some regret if you just kind of bail out from it, for sure. You know, I think that it's definitely worth the time of actually seeing if it's going to be, if it's going to actually fulfill you in this life, you know. But I think that taking the steps is necessary, you know, actually being conscious of what's being put out in front of you from this individual is very important. But, you know, somewhat take the chance, you know, somewhat take a risk on this. You know, I think that definitely can turn into something beautiful if there is that communication, you know, if there is that truthful conversation that needs to be had. But definitely, I sense that there would be some regret if you just kind of bail out too soon and not fully invest into it.
Yeah, I feel like nothing's going to look perfect from it. Maybe the regret is that you wanted it to look more perfect, and it's like it would already maybe was. Or it could be, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with that both parties need to make a major, with that lunar eclipse, it's magical, but both parties need to lunar eclipse it, like a personal life radical change. That the personal lives were not meeting, and both parties weren't willing to make the personal life changes that it would require.
Takes two to tango.
Yeah, it does. It does. It takes two personal lives that blend in as one.
That's why relationships are tough.
All right. Let's get this show on the road. Next ones that we got. Oh, well, it ain't no party like a what?
Oh, shit.
Shit. And it's time. Cause ain't no party like a Scorpio party, baby. Let's get some good cards, huh?
Let's see. I'm
ready.
I'm hoping for some good cards for the Scorpios this week. Scorpio. First card that you got here is the 5 of Swords in reversed. So I think that you don't need to try so hard. I don't think you need to push so hard. If something is that making you feel like you got to keep pushing for something, it's definitely not something, especially with Mercury retrograde now in your sign. It's like, relieve yourself from over trying to process this thing and how can you do more? How can you figure out more? It's quite the opposite. Maybe backing off might help figure things out. Maybe backing off, maybe taking a minor break too. Five of Swords is actually like not pursuing it so hard. But I'll say it, to be honest with you, like if you feel like you haven't been putting much effort in, then this is saying you're not putting enough effort in, you need to put more in. But I feel like for a lot of Scorpios, it's almost like been putting a lot of effort in and it's not really giving so much. Sometimes women do it to get men, right? Like it's like you got to play the chase a little bit. Well, the challenge here is the 7 of Wands. It doesn't feel like either this other person or even you or maybe together are really all the way like we're going in all in to fight for this for the rest of our lives and hold this position together. 7 of Wands holds the position and will fight even its own family and say, no, trust me, you need to pay attention to this person. They're important in my life. But there's not that there. Nine of Wands upright. So, well, this one always gets me. It's like looking in the mirror and not really satisfied with what you're seeing and putting up kind of walls with not happy. So maybe there's some reflections that you have to do within yourself and be like, what is it in yourself that's not making you happy, Scorpio? Or are you doing that because, you know, maybe you're trying too hard, or maybe you're feeling like you're starting to put your walls up because you're not feeling like the fight's all there that you need. You need that grit. You need that determination. Maybe somebody's not as determined. This is a very undetermined card. It's like, hey, why don't you go guard the gate? But they really don't ever look like they want to go guard it. In this case, she's like, let's be honest, she doesn't look too happy. Or doesn't look too enthusiastic. And there's this addicting element. So it's kind of a, well, are you addicted to hopefully at reaching this is the challenge? So it's the process of trying so hard to get it somewhere, and there's a little bit of an addiction to that, to sway it. But what would happen if you actually got it? Would it be boring then? Well, the Nine of Pentacles in reversed. This is you not putting enough into yourself at all, trying too hard to get everybody's attention. That's what the Five of Swords does, and then everybody walks away. And Nine of Pentacles is not giving enough to yourself that you can attract and bring in everything that the universe has to offer. So I would definitely say that this is pulling back into yourself to bring in what you need, and seeing if this person, or seeing if you're single, seeing if people are going to come your way. This is definitely not about chasing. This is a chasing reading here. Chasing for it to be something. And I think you're over the addiction of that, or it's just not becoming, it's becoming like, oh God. And you pulled the Hangman. Yeah, you feel stuck in, what are you really defending? Or I'll be honest, that Knight of Wands to me is just somebody who doesn't really want to be there. It's like, I'm a guard. Like if you go to the Royal, if you go to Buckingham Palace, those guards want to be there. Like maybe they could put on a good show, but at least they look like they're guarding it. I think that you feel trapped and you're trying to understand why they don't. It almost feels like this situation you're in right now. It's like, especially because that Seven of Wands, there's not a lot of wanting to fight for it. Whether it's within you or it's within that other person. And I think that that's what you need. The overall that you got here is the spiritual cleansing. So yeah, I think that you need to take a little break and cleanse. See what happens. And there's something missing. That's why there's something missing. Void of course moons is like getting back to just like basic life for a minute, and just so we can process things and see and prepare for if it is going to go anywhere. You pulled the sun and Sag in the 9th house. This definitely is the biggest energy of looking into a whole nother direction and looking at other stories and understanding the story, but it's adventure. It's also opening up new doors. Is it adventurous? Is it positive? Is it extremely positive? This is like one of the most extreme positive aspects that could happen. Is the faith on the same level too? These are the same beliefs. And they can go in all directions, from faith of spirituality to politics to how relationships work to how people should communicate. So there's a lot about something's missing in the belief systems, and there's some spiritual cleansing that needs to go on, and pulling back from some person or some energy here, because I think that there's a lot of being stuck in a pretty weird look into the mirror here that's not that satisfying.
I think maybe maybe they've had to like pull back an aspect of yourself, that's really important. And that's what you're saying, kind of have to take a step back, and cleanse and really get back within our truth. We can't necessarily hide who we are. We can't put on a front. We are who we are, and we need to live that truthfully. And if that individual isn't going to fully embrace you for all your good and your bad, then what's the point of even continuing down that road? There isn't a point. So what do we do now? Do we retreat, or do we just find time for ourselves and find out who we actually are? Find back that love, that I was speaking of, that self-love, that self-appreciation, because this individual that you're going to be with needs to appreciate you fully and truthfully and honestly, and have that love and appreciate the love that you have for yourself.
Yeah, and with all the, look at the sun in the 9th Sag, it's almost like there's so much good luck by pulling out and cleansing a situation to open up a doorway that you didn't even know was there. Because with the addiction card, it's almost like you can't see when you're in an addiction until you're out of the addiction. And there's a spiritual cleanse and a void, of course, missing. There's something missing. So I hope those were good cards, Scorpio. Sages. Maybe Sages are here to save the day for the Scorpios right now. I think Scorpios are here to save the day for Sages too. See what's going on, Sag. 4 of Cups reversed. Whew. Well, the gift that we don't want to take from God, but also feeling like something just is not. It almost feels like somebody's really not appreciating the gift that you are. This isn't you not accepting the gift, but I feel like you're not being appreciated. And that's a rough feeling, especially Mercury retrograde in your 12th. Time to wake up. You pulled the Emperor card in challenge. Yeah, you're definitely not feeling strong because of this. You're not feeling that you are being appreciated. You almost feel like, I've been saying this to Sages, they feel like a side piece. That's a big challenge. You got to find that power within yourself, not through somebody. Or if you're trying to get power through somebody, they're just using you for the powers and then not giving you anything in return. And then you pulled the Devil as your overall. So this is definitely a bad situation to being used right now, Sag, that you've been through. But I think that you can clear this by getting out of that. This is a week about clearing that out, clearing out that energy of not feeling used, and somebody's got you chained up pretty well. And I think that you have a hard time letting go. And almost like it's like you're being demonized if you do leave or you do empower within yourself. They try to take down your power or what you want to do. Naked before the stars is your shadow. It's like you feel like you're by yourself. all you have is the stars, or maybe all you have is spirit. But that's like a shadow. Like, you shouldn't feel like that in a relationship where all you have is spirit and like, how can I get through this next day? And maybe there's little moments where you feel like this person's really with you and you don't feel it all encompassing. You pulled the Ace of Swords upright. This is definitely needing to be sharp as a knife and cut to the ultimate new environment and get your power back of your mind and seeing clearly instead of seeing it but not willing to own that clarity and jab it into a new reality, into a much more positive one. You got greed with the devil. So again, I've been saying it's been about money, Sag. It's also been about maybe just something that you're trying to gain, but it's a toxic transactional relationship, or maybe it's just for some sort of benefit and not love. Well, look at this, divinity and Aries, I am. So the divinity comes when you come into getting what exactly you want. And if you're not getting what you want, then it's not divinity. And I think that you are unlocking if this is really a divine union, or if it's something that you tried to define yourself and you forced a divine union and it's not a divine union. North Node in the 7th, and you did pull it in Gemini. So it's time for you to get to the facts of where the relationship stands, and also only go and reach towards the most. And it's ironic because Gemini is your 7th house. So it's like, that's where the North Node is. Like, you need to focus on the relationship that feels like your ultimate twin energy. But I think that you've kind of fooled yourself into twin energy here, because I think the South Node at Sag has you believing a story that you want it to be like, but it's really not the truth of the true Gemini twins that the relationship really is.
Yeah, and Quantum Love in the chat, she said, or she or he said, own it within, and that is, owning your power, owning your love, not giving it away, not letting an individual take advantage of you, and vice versa, not taking advantage of an individual. Love is precious. All of us, we all are precious, and we all deserve the right to love and to be loved, but it has to be a love of truth, has to be for the right reasons. So what are those reasons? Is there monetary gain from it, or is it that true love? And I think that that's what needs to be found. I think that's where the honesty comes from. And I think that's what you need to own from within. Own yourself, own your power. Don't let an individual take it, and don't take that power away from an individual. If it's not the truth, then you need to let them go as well, because that's just going to come back around you and bite you in the ass, either this life or the next one. You want that, karmic? Huh? No.
You want biting in the ass for the good reasons, not the bad reasons.
Yeah.
No. And that greed card came up, and I've been trying to say the astrology, all that Capricorn, the 2nd house. Oh my God. It almost feels like Sages are with Scrooge McDucks. And they haven't had, they're not going to get the 3, what is it? The Ghost from Christmas Past. They're not going to get that moment, whoever this person is, until you're already gone and found happiness. Libra. Happy birthdays, Libra.
And actually, it's going to be our resident Libra's birthday on the next Deep Love Tarot.
It will be. Big week for Libras. Big week. New moon in your sign, Libra. Is it a new you? Is it a new relationship? Mars retrograde? Squaring all of emotional stuff? Oh, man. Mercury retrograde in your 2nd house? Is it really that good? Is it? Is there better? Is there more intense? Oh, I bet you there is. Five of Pentacles reversed, the victim card. You need to let go of playing that you are victim by saying, no longer am I just going to sit in something that's crappy no more. Or you are a victim and you're not wanting to see it. I know plenty of Libras that'll like get victimized forever and be like, no, it's fine. It's like, really? They're doing that to you? Wow, look at this. Your challenge is the devil. You're definitely dealing with somebody really trying to control you, and it's almost like you don't want to believe it, I feel like. That's the challenge. It's like, no, they're not that bad. It's like you're trying to protect the devil. Ooh. You know, I've had a relationship before where somebody was so perfect and everything and did so much bad stuff, but everybody believed that person because they looked just so perfect, and they can never do that. Trust me, it's scary. The High Priestess in reverse is the overall. Not listening to spirit, Libra, is why you've gotten into this situation. You're not, you've gotten plenty of messages, whether it's from tarot, whether it's from astrologers, whether it's from, especially from God and your angels and your guides. But how come it's like, there's a force, there's a partnership that maybe he's even in the past, or you're still connected to, or you're in, that has somewhat capsulated you into this weird thing. And this new moon is definitely, is this how you're going to live your life? Or are you going to start something new and different? It's a lot of emotional pressure. You got hiding your true self. Wow, they're hiding your true self, and you're hiding your true self by this connection. What's going on? 5 of Pentacles in reverse. You got the 10 of Cups reversed. It's not the love story that you thought it was, I'm sorry to say. And maybe that already ended, or maybe you still believe it is, but it's already turned south. And, are you going to be the victim and hold on to an ultimate fairy tale that's not an ultimate fairy tale, and keep making it seem and believe like it's a fairy tale? You need to have a new vision, one where you're implementing what the divine is telling you, what spirit is telling you. But it's almost like you've created a vision of, I'm not going to listen to that spiritual stuff. I'm not going to listen to the truth. I'm not going to listen to the higher order from the universe that's sent through the divine feminine. It's like the divine feminine is not activating in your vision. So if you're male, it's almost like, you're with a female who's like masculinely taking you over. If you're a feminine, it's almost like you're with a feminine. Oh. Look at this. It's time to ground. But are you too grounded? That might be a question we're going to see from this. Black Moon, the mystery. Okay. It's time to ground in the mystery of the, I know what I want, and I'm going to go set anchor into the mystery of what I don't. Might sound crazy. It might sound like I'm in a Lilith left Adam. Peace out, dude. Sorry. The Adam and Eve story then came about. It wasn't like God stopped the story just because Lilith didn't want to be part of that story. So I think that for you, I think it's like, where have you set anchor? And as if you set anchor into the mysteries, into the true essence of the true, essence of a much more stronger definition of the feminine that you really want, that almost needs to come out in a Black Moon Lilith way, because you've suppressed your feminine, and because you're with a feminine, or you're acting feminine and not getting, it's like all out of balance. Well, you pulled North Node in Libra in the first house. Yeah, it's time to put yourself first in the relationship. I feel like you're not. And I think it's time to also rebalance out the relationship and put it on the court and actually look at the evidence and, put it back into trial on your own self and go, is this really fair? Because I think that you're lost in the identity of the relationship, and that, yeah, it'll figure itself out, or we have the courage to make this one work. It's like, really? God's trying to divinely bring justice to you. Do you allow that? Or do you give it to the other person?
I think there needs to be a new masterpiece created with those Libras out there.
Yeah,
like that you had brought up Lilith. Someone in the chat, I didn't get to, I just scrolled up too quickly, but they said, and Lilith whispers, "Do it." And that was before you even said that, and it's making that change, having the confidence in yourself to make that change. When you paint a picture, sometimes you just got to fucking paint over and start all again. And that's fine. But you have to have the confidence that you're going to create something beautiful. You're going to have the confidence in not, not kind of getting on yourself that, I don't want to say failed, but that you didn't succeed at the painting or the picture that you were trying to create in this life. And that's okay. But you have to have the confidence in yourself that you can right the ship, that you can kind of head in that new direction. And it's there. It's there. Tap back into your actual desires. Tap back into yourself, that power that got you to where you are right now. And sometimes you got to say, fuck it and leave. Fuck it. I'm going to create a new image, a new likeness. Whatever that may be, whatever that turns out to be, you can create it and you do have that power.
Yeah, because once Libra's cut a cord, then a new cord shows right up. But they have problems cutting cords. Even if it's already been over. Geminis. Virgo, Venus. Okay, there we go. There we go. Let's see, Gemini, what's going on? You got the Ace of Pentacles in reversed. Well, love life, definitely, whether you got to clear some stuff up before it can go to the next level, or it's got to go to a new level, or I don't know. I feel like you're holding on to a bunch of there's a great story that is what you really want to manifest, but it's like you're holding back. Maybe it's your partner holding back too that you want, but maybe there's a reason for that. Why? What's the challenge? 10 of Wands. You're holding on to too much weight. Or maybe actually I'm going to put it this way. I think that the challenge is that because there's another part of 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands, no matter how much weight is on its way and it's going to reach its goal. But I feel like that maybe your challenge is thinking that maybe there's too much weight and in the reality it's not going the way and you're putting too much love and effort in and they're not showing up, or it's the opposite. Like you're not fucking putting anything in and you're expecting something to just happen, or you're just like satisfied with nothing happening in your romantic life, but that ain't the truth. Especially this new moon in your 5th house. King of Pentacles reversed. I feel like you're with, or you're focused on somebody that really doesn't have the ability to manifest. Or they honestly kind of falsified really if they have the ability to be who they are. And they also could lie and act rich when they're not, or act like they've got it going on, but really they have a lot of self-worth issues, and that's kind of scaring you. And I think that's also within yourself. I feel like you feel that, well, I don't know if I don't have enough energy to go create this world, because you got the King and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, and then you got the 10 of Wands as your challenge. It's like maybe it's just all too much. Well, I think that with the challenge, it's like being a Gemini too. It's like you really don't have that much as you think you do to be holding on to. And you look at this, you're out of tune, because maybe I think that you're with somebody who's out of tune completely and you're expecting that to kind of work. But I would say that a lot of it is you're out of tune in the idea of what weight is in a relationship, or what weight you're holding on to. That you got to retune yourself here. You're also stabbing yourself in your own back by either choosing somebody that I don't know you thought was great and they're definitely not. Well, 7 of Pentacles. I mean, honestly, I feel like the ultimate investment that gives you the ultimate return, and you're not willing to invest maybe, and that's part of the issue. Is like you're not willing to invest what you already know and you see as the greatness. I feel like this is pointed at you. Like I feel like this. I feel for some reason this Ace of Pentacles is you, and this King of Pentacles is the person that isn't working out. And why is that? Well, the ritual. I think that the ritual here that you've gotten yourself into in this is one. They don't have a ritual because they don't got the goods, so they have nothing to create in a ritual. I think it was like a false. I think that you fell for somebody that said that they had all these things and they don't. And I especially feel like that's in the material realm too. They don't have it. And they don't have the self-worth either. They don't have that confidence that turns the Gemini on. And so that you feel out of tune. And then it's almost like you want to invest in something to get a big return, but you almost are not willing to invest into allowing yourself just an overall your love life, create a new story, wherever it comes from. Yeah, it's time to manifest it. It's time to bring it. It's time to ground it. It's time to create. But if you're with somebody who doesn't have the ability to create, you're just it's a waste of time. And well, Saturn, it's time to look at the truth. It's time to look at the truth and where you're at in your whole entire love story. Mercury retrograde, especially in your 6th house here. Your reality needs to change and it needs to bring in more love. It's a new moon in Libra, but you're so scared. And it's time to grow up. And it's time to grow up that you could have the most ultimate ever, but you're too afraid. And that's what you need to get back in tune with, is that you can manifest the most amazing thing. And Earth goes through changes, but Saturn here is just the truth that, you know what? It's like you need to grow up and stop being so afraid. Especially in Capricorn with Jupiter and Pluto in your 8th house. And I think that a lot of the fear is coming from, look at this, 8th house Venus, Virgo. I mean, I think that a lot of it too is like you're afraid of creating a new reality and changing your life and investing it fully. You're afraid of full integration here. So, and I would say that's because you've been dealing with a lot of people, I would say probably, and I'll pull one card to kind of get an idea of what that is. Well, it's the king of I think that you've had somebody that was amazing and then now you've jumped to other places. Look at that, the king of wands reversed. I think that you have had somebody who's actually been that, and now you thought that you found somebody that could be like that, but they're not, right? Like, I think that you know what love looks like, and you're with somebody who's the farthest away from love, and you're like trying it, and it's like, what are you doing? So this would be going on if this is King of Wands in reversed. I mean, a while now. It almost feels like maybe the last partner that you had was the King of Wands, and now you're with somebody who's the opposite of it. That long. Since last time you were actually like in love. And that's the issue, is like you need to go back to people who are more like, not the ex per se, but just that have that vibe of that they have the ability to love, and they have the goods, and they have the ability, and they have the investment energy, and they have the physicality to create that. And you need to grow up into that now. And you need to be willing to integrate your life in full force again. You can't be afraid of that shit. And if you're afraid of integrating into love right now, it means you are so out of alignment with the universe. So out of alignment, literally, because you're just a scaredy cat.
And don't fear the change, you know. Fear getting stuck, you know. Fear getting stuck in a whirlpool of crap, of lies, you know, and deceit. And that could be lying to yourself that this partner is correct for you, you know, and it might not be, you know. But don't fear the change of progressing forward and being by yourself if that's needed. But fear getting stuck and wasting your time, wasting your life. Your time is precious, you know, and so is your love. So don't waste it on an individual that you know is not right for you, that cannot hold that power that you have. So be upfront and say, not up in here, not today. I'm done wasting my time. Be true to yourself.
Boom. Because if you're not true to yourself,
what are you going to be true for?
Then you're not even living in a true life, and truth is everything, Gemini, right? Or have you not gone to the deeper levels of like your scaredy cat of integration fully and surrender into integration fully? Capricorn. Maybe it's a Capricorn that's the issue. What's going on with Cappies? 3 of Pentacles reversed. So it feels like you're not building what you want to in a relationship right now, or that you feel like your partner doesn't have the skills to do the bigger things that you want to do in life, especially with this new moon in your 10th house. Or you can't find anybody that you feel that you'd want to go build anything with right now. Or you're just like looking at your partner and it's like, gosh, like it's time to step up and you're not showing up with nothing. You don't offer much. I'm going to go build this thing. with my friend and you're not going to go do anything. Like, I feel like you might be dealing with somebody who's like lazy or has kind of given up on themselves because they're not showing up to the Three of Pentacles. Well, look at this. Your challenge is the Death card. You're afraid to end something with somebody that's not showing up in the way that they have the skills and the ability to do the things that you want. That's okay. I mean, that's normal, but we need to get deeper into why would you be afraid of leaving something that's not going to show up and be great and even has the ability. Let's just say I know somebody dear in my heart, because everybody will always try to assume. And I know this Capricorn, though, and they've been with this person for a long time, and this person has always had work trouble and like forever. One point even, I don't want to, then we get too personal because it actually has nothing to do with friends or anything. It has to do with family. But let's just say that when you start writing emails to people asking for help and the whole around the family, like, can you really show up? The Magician reversed. You're afraid to step into the divine of what you really want to create with magic. I would say overall that also you could possibly, well, no, it's not even a possibility at this point. You know you're with somebody who holds no magic and they can't even show up in the circle of creating. Just basic things too. Like, hey, like, can you go to the store with me and we'll go to the grocery store and we'll cook tonight? It's like, no, I'm just going to lay down here. I'm like, okay. All right. You know, like, oh, you know, I'm holding this big old, all these groceries right now. Like, you know, it's like, wow, they don't even offer to help right now. And you're afraid to leave that? Or you just can't find anybody that you feel that you has does the magic, but maybe that you've created such a window because you're afraid of relationships. So everybody's not magical and everybody doesn't have the goods and you don't even know what the goods are. And look at this though, it's fragmentation. So I would say that, you know, it's like, you're not even getting a portion of anything. You're just like literally getting scraps from this person. You're afraid of getting rid of the scraps. Like, it's almost like, you know what? It'd be like keeping like leftovers. And you're like keeping like 2 corn kernels and like a little bit of stuffing and like half a piece of turkey and like a quarter piece of a roll. And you're like, I'm going to reheat that again. And it's like, really? That's what you get every day. After a while, I'd feel scrappy. I'd be like, oh man, I'm missing something here. You got the Queen of Wands reversed. So you definitely feel stupid that you've given all of your love and look at this. You've spread your wings all the way wide for this person. Let's say you've spread everything in wide in every reason and then they don't know how to do anything with it. So you feel really dumb that you picked the worst teammate. Or maybe you did know that and you still went through with it and now you feel stupid. The Star card with the Magician. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to clean the slate here in order to get back to the real Magician again, because I feel like this is something that you can't know how to get into your energy with because their energy is so fragmenting you. I think that you're like beyond recovery of this. You got to wipe the slate clean to get back to the magic within yourself. Sometimes that happens, Capricorn. But this is your biggest moment of your life. Look at LeBron James, right? He just won last night. He's a Capricorn. He wanted it. He got it. Home. Does it feel like home to you, or is home just feeling like not home? Or do you feel alone and you're home alone? I don't know why I got that. I just thought Macaulay Culkin, Home Alone. Taurus, the quality to have the ultimate emotional home and just all directions nurturing you and showing up in all forms, and actually have that, and actually have the strength, the value, and the beautifulness that can come from this, the beauty. I'll be honest with you. I think that home for you is something worth fighting for that's got beauty within it. But I almost feel like you might be dealing with somebody that like they're you know, you don't even look at them in a beautiful way. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, because Capricorns, I love them. They have the most dry humor. The best comedians are Capricorns in the world. And I would say that you don't even think they're hot. Like, you're just like, what are you doing? Oh gosh. Well, you got Saturn in Capricorn in the 10th. Oh gosh, time to be big Capricorn here and make the big decisions and be a little cold as ice and just get over these emotional situations. With Mars retrograde, I know it's hard, but it's like, are you defining yourself off those horrible emotions, or are you reaching for the top now? And I think that you need to realize that I think that you're over the ladder not moving any higher here. And I think that you're over the stairways that led to nothing. And I think that it's time to be the goat and move on up and start going back up in life and start reaching higher. It also means that, you know, I feel like you need to be with somebody that's higher in society, that they're not high enough in society for you. It's like you can't relate with them in society's energy. I know that's more of an Aquarian thing, but actually it's a 10th house thing when it comes to hierarchies in society. It's like almost like they don't know how to, like, you need somebody that's like willing to go to the distance with you. But I almost feel like this person can't even get an advancement in their life.
Yeah. Are you not showing up for yourself, Capricorn? You know, if you're not showing up for yourself, how can you expect anybody or the universe to show up for you? You know, it starts from within. Always.
It's a mere reflection, actually. I'm glad you brought that up. That's
there we
deep,
go.
Dude.
It's a mere reflection. So what is it that you're actually putting out into the world? You know, what is it that you feel of it yourself? Do you have the self-confidence to go and get that, to go and achieve that higher level of greatness, or are you just going to settle? It comes down to what you truly want, what you truly desire. And if you are going to show up for yourself, then show up for greatness. You know, don't show up for a mediocre love. Show up for the highest love, the highest potential, and the highest greatness that you can achieve in this life. Don't dim that switch, so to speak. You know, crank that shit up to 11.
Always turn it up to 11.
To 11.
That Spinal Tap.
Mm-hmm.
See? We're connected, bro. Mm-hmm. By the way, it was sad to hear about the passing of Eddie Van Halen.
What?
The Van Halen's passing, bro.
Yeah.
Leo, I still rock Van Halen in my Spotify playlist. I'll take the top down in the AMG and fucking, there's some Van Halen sometimes playing, you know what I mean? Like, I need to hear those guitar fucking, that motherfucker on a guitar. Wow. And I just, whew. All right, Leo, let's see what's going on. Ten of Swords reversed. Well, getting out of old patterns this week, Leo. It's good news. You're over it. You're over the same pattern of the same cycle that you're going through. It's almost like you're in a cycle that just never stops. But also, I will be honest, Leo, it also means, like, are you aware that you're in a cycle? And maybe it's time to be aware that, you know, like, if you keep trying the same approach and it doesn't work, stop trying that same approach. So there needs to be a different look at, like, where is it feeling like it's like you're caught up in a loop that's not changing anything, and it you know, you're beating a dead horse, right? But the reverse saying, it's like you're aware of that, and you're like playing with the idea of, like, I'm ready to not do that anymore, which is good. Two of Wands reversed is the challenge. You don't feel like the world is exactly the way you want it to look like, romantic wise, or maybe you're dealing with a partner, or you're dealing with somebody who's coming in from a different world and trying to fix that, and that's a challenge right now. Or you're in two different places or two different worlds. The overall here is, well, the Ace of Cups reversed. Not feeling emotionally fulfilled. Feel empty emotionally, or feeling like you want it to be fully on. Well, there's going to be some patterns that have to change, and also an understanding of the world that you want it to be instead of it being the world that you're seeing upside down. So this is definitely trying to fill some deep holes here that feel empty. What's the shadow going on here? Queen of my world. Either that person that you're dealing with feels like, you know, they're the queen of their world and you don't have access to that world, or you could be doing the same thing just as well. So that's part of the pattern changing, is like, can both worlds come together? Because you can't get the full fulfillment being a Leo, especially if you're going to have a queen, or if you're a queen, you're going to have a king. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to be staying in separate castles, in separate countries, or separate lands. Well, the moon card came. So it's like, these are emotional patterns that you're over. Maybe seeing it in yourself, or maybe in that partnership. But it's definitely bringing up the emotional patterns that you don't want to continue to go down anymore. There's a lot to be revealed here emotionally for you of the truth. But the challenge, you know, the shadow here is like, maybe you don't feel like you are in somebody's world, and that you can even be part of that. Or maybe you feel like you don't want somebody to be in your world. The Empress reversed. Well, I would say that it's not fulfilled because there's something about this where it's like you need the ultimate Empress, and it's reversed. It's like close, but maybe there's still some work, or maybe it's just like it's not holding the Venus, right? It's not holding, right? The Empress always is holding a baby. It's maternal. It's ready to just embrace fully. There's a feeling of like something not fully embracing, and maybe their world holds them from that, or maybe that's what I'm saying overall, is like, that's why you feel empty, is I feel like there's just this energy of not fully embracing the potential fully. Well, big release has to happen. I think that you have to release in order to find love. I mean, I feel that to get the Leo card as Leo, as the overall, it's like, release yourself to be yourself. Like, I almost feel like Leos don't mess with patterned or people and worlds that don't exist, that are not working in the world. I don't know. There's probably going to be ego stuff too that you're going to have to release, though, too. It's definitely can be a flipped, double-sided coin here. Well, I mean, this is a new moon in the third house. You know exactly the environment that you need to be in. And Mars retrograde in the ninth is, you shouldn't need to go journey for some crazy journey. It should just work. And it is about fitting in your reality in the sixth house. It should just fit in your life. If it doesn't fit in your life, it doesn't fit. Ninth house sun, Capricorn. So I think it's time to open up to make big decisions. And I think that you're pondering big decisions. And I think that that's okay. But eventually a decision has to come. So you just can't sit in purgatory forever. And I think that's the emotional kind of pattern, is like, well, let me keep looking for more before I make a decision. What's the point? That's what you have to release, is you have to release this part of yourself that doesn't have the will to do something fully, and step into just only the will that does. Whether that's the partner or whether it's you. Could be both.
And coming down to allowing the transformation to take place, allowing that transformation within yourself to happen, and embracing that fully, embracing yourself fully. There could be an aspect through all this, through all this crazy year, that maybe you've lost a little bit of yourself. You've lost a little bit of the knowing of who you are and who you were going to be, and I think it's getting back in touch with that and finding yourself again, finding the happiness within, finding your love within, so that you can address it, so then you can see that love when it comes to you, and you can be, so that you can be able to address that change that's happening. But it comes down to tapping back into yourself, like you pulled that Leo card within the Leo, you know, knowing yourself, knowing your potential, and knowing that power, and not letting it, you know, I said turn that dimmer up, but not allowing that dimming switch to be turned down, you know, not letting that light kind of get stifled from who you are, but embracing it fully and allowing someone to embrace you fully and show them the love that you deserve.
100%. Yeah. And I think for Leos, it's always about getting back to yourself. And if something doesn't feel within yourself, then you got to release it. Like if it feels like it's taken away from yourself, you have to release anything that does not make you feel like the ultimate Leo. Like, or if they don't see the ultimate Leo, or if you don't have the will to do something, then you got to release it, right? Like no Leo does anything that they don't want to do. Like it's like, but you might be contemplating that emotionally is like, do I really want to be in a pattern? And maybe am I not seeing that I'm doing the same thing and it's not getting a different result? There's a lot of that stuff in there. We are coming to the close here. We got 2 signs left. We have got, well, what popped up? Tauruses, and then Virgos are last. It's moo-moo time! All right, Taurus, let's see what's going on. You know my moon's in Taurus. I fucking love Tauruses. 9 of Cups reversed. I love the 9 of Cups, especially in love. Look at this. This is like, woo! Are you denying yourself of the experience that you want to have love with? Blocking it? Mars in your 12th? Being too specific on how it should be? Trying to have your organization of your schedule in your life? Or are you missing out on just the most ultimate bliss? Or is somebody not, if you're in a relationship and somebody's not showing you that ultimate, they don't want to experience all the feelings with you, then it's not working. But I got a feeling, Taurus, that you're not willing to experience all the emotions with people too. Like just let it, see what happens if that happens. That reversal saying you're not willing to, or you're going too far in other areas and you're missing out on other areas. Like maybe you're only finding bliss with eating ice cream on the couch, like, and watching movies. Why don't you include somebody in there with you with that? You got the 2 of Swords in reverse. So your challenge is that you act like you don't know what to do, or you're kind of confused when you're not confused. You know exactly. You want to have this ultimate thing, but it's like you're not showing up to be that ultimate thing. Or you're dealing with a partner that's not showing up that way. I think that you're willing to, but I think that at the same time you're, you know, I always feel like the 2 of Swords is playing the act. Like, oh yeah, like, you know, like I don't really know, and I'm just kind of, you're stalling. You're stalling on greatness. If there's any time right now, with all this pressure, with you having Mars retrograde in your 12th, you need relationships for the success to have the reality be the way that you want to. Denying it and doing it on your own just leaves you into the nothing, you know, in the nothingness that the never-ending story talks about. Well, you got the 3 of Cups. It's time to have a good time again and have fun and have a party for love. That's what this is trying to lead to overall. But what? You don't want to have a party? I think that you do. I just think that you're playing the, like, I don't want to invest I don't want to explore all the feelings right away. It's like, well, how else are you going to have a party? A party is when you finally surrender and go, yeah, this is a great time. I'm having fun. Wait, we're going in here. We're going in here. We're going there. Okay, fuck yeah, let's go. Your shadow of why you're being this way is, look at this. It's like, I think you've dealt with parasites in the past. Or you could have been dealing with somebody who was parasitic, or maybe inside of yourself, you've created the parasite within yourself of not wanting to have a good time and not wanting to open up all your feelings. You got the 8 of Cups. Okay. It's like you are playing Miss or Mr. Walk Away and not letting anybody. It's like, this is crazy to get the 9 of Cups and then the 8 of Cups, and it's so backwards. It would be like you're already telling people you're already walking away from something you never even were into. You're like, so something shows up and you're already walking away. It's like, what happened? Oh no, I just, it's like, you won't allow yourself to open yourself up. Or you need to walk away if you're in a relationship from somebody who's not fucking showing up. Okay, let's be clear about that. But there's a lot of Tauruses out there that are not showing up at all and are walking away from anything dealing with the most greatest. Look at this. Like, this might even trigger a Taurus right now. Like, wow. But no, I don't want to do that. And you almost are playing like hard to get in such a way that you're not even attainable. Pull the Magician reversed. Look at that. You want to have a party, but you're not willing to step into the magic. So guess what? You don't want to step into the magic, and you also are playing coy, and you're walking away from magical things. That is the ultimate party, and that's the parasite that's living within you that is saying, well, I don't know, I have too many things that I need to figure out. No, you don't. You have nothing to figure out. The only thing you need to figure out is the ultimate. I feel like you did deal with somebody though recently that was parasitic and did kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth, but that doesn't mean that the next thing is, and by holding that energy, that continues the parasite within you. Ooh. Well, the truth, I think that this is dealing with just the overall truth about what? Wow, your sun and your spirit. So that's the truth, that your soul is ready to experience the ultimate in love and to express its true spiritual nature and its true self. But are you willing to let that truth out? Are you willing to trust in that? I feel like that's what needs to happen here. I feel like this is weird. I've never seen this alignment. I love doing this many tarot cards because I've never seen this. Like 8 of Cups over 9 of Cups reversed. Walk away from overindulgences that are holding you back from the indulgences of every emotion that you want to feel in relationship, because you're overindulging in energy that is walking away from relationships. So you're obsessed with other things emotionally that are farthest away from relationships. And that's the truth. And you're not getting what you want in your soul. And that's the parasitic energy. And there's magic there, but you're not willing to access the magic because, you don't want it to be a great party. Yes, you do, but you're not willing to go through the magic that it takes to go through there because that's going to confuse you, the situations in your life, which are already confusing. Neptune in the 12th, up in Libra. Look at this. You are avoiding relationships and completely playing the subconscious game with relationships, and you're hiding from them. You're hiding from people, and that's got to end. It's time to expose the true soul and have the spiritual relationship lift that you've been waiting for your whole life. You're going to hide, or you're going to show up into the spirit? You're going to stay hidden behind the clouds? But really, it's so funny. You project that it's all this beautiful thing to other people, that, you've got some important things going on. But really, if we were to look behind there, it's a mess behind there. You're just like laying in your bed and just like sitting next to like a heater or an air conditioner, and just like bed's not made, and just not showing up. Avoiding it, scared about something. I don't know why.
Well, it could be that, our minds are playing tricks on us, so to speak. We're getting caught up in those head games of doubt, getting caught up in those head games of past issues, instead of just addressing them and saying, no, it's not a part of my life anymore. That was an aspect, and I worked through that, and now I can move on to greater things. But if we get caught up in some of those detriment in our life, then we're just going to continue to live those energies. We're going to continue to live that lie that is our life, when it's not. It's time to move forward. It's time to wash those parasites. Maybe you need some diatomaceous earth in your system. Who knows? Whatever it is, but you have to purge some sort of system and get that out of you so that you can work forward, so that you can push forward, and so that you can continue on this path, without getting lost within yourself.
That's what to say. If somebody approaches you and says, wash the lotion off their skin, it doesn't mean they're going to do something crazy to you. Maybe there's triggers. You might hear things. I don't know why my guides are trying to tell you that. And I lit a cigarette for this one, Taurus. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting all George Clooney style on you. I'm just trying to tell you, like, if somebody tells you something that triggers you or whatever, it's not even what you might think. I think that you have a fear of the reality of bliss at the moment. You've addicted yourself to, like, you're like Cartman in the quarantine or in the pandemic special they just did on South Park. You don't want the quarantine to end. You enjoy being in your own weird space. You don't want it to end. Till they start pulling you and forcing you out and kicking and screaming. So that's not going to be fun. Especially when it's like, you know, one day, maybe it won't be your parents anymore because maybe they'll pass away one day, but it'll be like your brother or sister or cousin or somebody, and they're going to be really old and be like, you need to get out of this place. You need to show up. Like, what's going on? You've been in there forever. Pressure to open up. 9th house. Capricorn. You will get the biggest success from opening doors. You'll get nothing if you don't open anything. 0. Well, Virgos are the last ones. Hold on. I'm trying to smoke and be a volleyball player at the same time. I used to be the deep serve for Irvine High Vaqueros. Ace. All right, Virgo, let's see what's going on with you this week. You pulled the Queen of Wands upright. Woo! The love is spurting up for you. Look at all those red roses. Definitely ready for the love game. Maybe you need to help some of those Tauruses out. Is definitely you excited or feeling good about love, or it's a big, heavy focus on your love life. That's intense, to say the least. You got the 6 of Cups, though, in reverse. There's some bad memories here from the past and the fear of, I don't know, bad memories coming back. That's your challenge? Or it's just like maybe you have a fear that it's not going to go somewhat perfect, right? 6 of Cups is like a perfect moment of like, oh, memories wise, or the idea of memories that you're creating. Like, you can't go create memories until they're created. Like, it's almost like you're projecting memories that haven't happened yet, and that's a troubling place. Like, it's almost like, especially if you look at this Queen of Wands, like, and it's like, gosh, yeah, like, it looks like it's going to be a really good time in there, right? We can all conceptualize that, but it's not going to look exactly the way we think it's going to look. It could go really good, too. It could be better than we thought it was. Well, you pulled the Emperor overall. So, I mean, it's like, I think overall it's about you being empowered in what you want and you being attracted to only people that have that kind of quality of that strength that want you fully. I think that the bad memory thing is people who were not strong and did not know what they want. And, that, you know, maybe that's something that you're terribly afraid of. And you got to be clear on that, though. I don't think you want to push it away, though, too. Your challenge here is the artificial heart. That you're closing your heart off fully or partly. It's artificial if it's even got 1% not heart because of bad memories. Or you're still holding on to bad memories to your partner if you're in a relationship, Virgo, and you're like, I'm not going to give this motherfucker or anybody, I'm not going to give them this until we get over this bad memory thing. It's like, get over the bad memories. This is the past. This is now. And for you, it's about opening your heart in Capricorn with all these planets and square to your self-worth. You can't have anything without the heart, and you can't have anything unless you go deep down into the 8th house and reveal the truth and go down into the tomb, as I like to say. You did pull the Emperor again. The Emperor over that. So, you know, it's like you need somebody who's very strong right now. Because you're very strong. But if you're not very strong, you're not going to attract somebody strong. So you've got to step into your strength, and you got to know what you want, and you got to, I don't want to say demand it, but you got to like define what it is that you want here. This Mercury retrograde in your third house is definitely having you question a lot of things, and that's not going to be good. With looking into the past mind stuff, if you're going to play this by the mind, it's not going to work. Especially memories and emotional memories, emotional mind memories, that's closing things off. And this Emperor overall that you picked is justice. So it's like, yeah, the balance is you need a strong person. Pull the Emperor twice upright. That's the balance and justice. Also the fairness, right? So it's like the fairness of, okay, you have your wants, and then whoever else that you're dealing with, they have their wants too. Maybe you're dealing with a powerful person and you're a powerful person. Or maybe you're dealing with a weak person and you're a powerful person, and that's imbalance. Or maybe it's two weak people that need to be stronger. You pulled relief, so it's like, let go. There's relief here. Like, you don't need to go drink prune juice. It'll come out. Just relax. I tried the prune juice thing once. Never again. That shit works better than anything in the world. I was like, I'm not drinking that shit ever again. I understand why people, like, when they get their AARP card, get a coupon for prune juice. But I was like, I remember it was like sad. I don't know. It was like, I think I was living with Lyle, my brother. And I remember I was like, drink prune juice. I went and bought prune juice. I was constipated, and I fucking had just a little bit of that shit. And the next thing you knew, I was like, I am never doing that shit again. I think I'm cleared out for like 10 years. There's plenty of relief here. You don't need to go get no prune juice. Just relax. There's relief. Mercury retrograde. And how funny, we're in a Mercury retrograde. So it's going to be the relief of your mind. You need to, like, the reinvention of how you deal with your mind, and relief of the mind. I think that that's your issue. You're so up in your head. And I know that sounds so typical Virgo. So we will pull you a TV card to see what the hell's going on here, because then it's like, oh, that's like every Virgo situation. You did pull the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, which means that, you know, I think a lot of this is you're not able to be in your power if you don't show up and just trust within yourself and know that everything is attracted and will come to you. You don't need to go after people, and you don't need to reinvent the wheel, and you don't need to have a specific way that it should look. You need to relieve yourself by stepping into just, again, you pull two Emperors and you pull a Nine of Pentacles here. Like in reverse, I would say that it's like the world will come to you by you stepping up just and showing up to the world and not having any idea of what it looks like in mind sense, but in knowing in the physical form of what can be attracted to you. And knowing the value of it, knowing how to be connected to the whole universe as well. We pulled Pluto and Pisces, and for you, this is your beliefs. So these are subconscious beliefs that need to be destroyed about how you expect things to always go. And again, that would be a lot of the past and the memory stuff, especially with Pluto and Pisces. We will see Pluto and Pisces in our lifetimes. Most of us will. So I would say that, you know, this is definitely going to be about letting go of subconscious belief systems about how relationships work, because they're not working. And I think that it's about, like, remembering that it's an adventure, and it's a magical adventure, and that's all that it is. It's there's nothing else. Like, it's more that than a specific certain belief system and how it spiritually should come together, when really that's always, I think, been the thing that's been the destroyer of creating, or destroyer of bad relationships, but creating bad relationships because of the expectation. And actually, my one of my dear friends, Christine, I think she just got married recently, Hassler, had a book, Expectation Hangover. Great title, great book, actually. This would be getting rid of your expectation hangover.
And embrace the future, you know, appreciate the past, but embrace the future. Don't dwell on it, you know, keep moving forward. Speak it, you know, don't just get caught in your mind, but actually just, you know, write it down. Speak it, even if there's no one there, you know, maybe just put it into a song. But work through that trauma, work through the past, you know, but never forget where you came from. You always have to appreciate those, appreciate the hardships, appreciate the good times, but don't live back there. Don't dwell in there. Continue to progress forward. Continue to live your new life.
You know who danced to celebrate good times? Come on, it was Trump tonight at the rally. You know, I just saw it on Instagram before we did this. I was like, Trump's dancing. He's riding this whole Corona thing like the recovery. Like, oh my God, like Kind of crazy.
Kind of crazy.
Well, it's a crazy week, everyone. So we will be here for you. HighVibe.tv. The sale has ended now for my school, but Erica Othen's school goes live on Tuesday, tomorrow. Beyond the Planets. You want to know about more of the asteroids, all the different star systems, and so much more beyond. And we're talking about all the stuff that just, honestly, is way beyond just looking at the planets. Helping you in all different areas in your life and the different stories that come with them and understanding how it applies in your chart. Make sure that you join now at highvibetvschool.com for that. And of course, make sure that you join highvibe.tv for all my daily video horoscopes, my weekly sun sign horoscopes, and my weekly intuitive weekly tarot, and full disclosure that Craig and I do, and deep astrology in its full form, and any other special things that we do. I do have a paid video coming out. I think we'll be shooting it live next week. It's going to be 2020 Climax. And I have a name that I'm going to name it, but I got like 3 I'm playing around with. We'll be releasing it by Deep Astrology for you to purchase and be part of the live with live chat. And I'm going to finish out what 2020 is here from all directions, monetary-wise, relationship-wise, overall life-wise, what the world's going to look like, my big political stuff that I'm going to say, my final answer, and all the things that are the climax that the end of 2020 is definitely climatic. So look out. That's coming out here really soon. And follow us on Instagram. All the links are down below. And be easy on yourself this week. It's pressure. But man, pressure to me is fun. I thrive in pressure. But I can be a little cranky too in it.
There you go. And when in doubt, show love, spread love, baby. Just put it out there into the world.
We'll see ya. Spread this out. Peace.
Later.